what other students were not willing to do, but it did mean that I spent all night in the library. When you get to law school, you will undoubtedly hear, oh, I spent 20 hours in the library, oh, I was there all night, oh, I was doing this, I was doing that. But it does not mean they are getting good grades, trust and believe, okay? Because I had date night every Friday with my husband and did not miss church on Sunday, and I still was able to get all A's in law school. So it's not about the amount of time, but it's about being strategic, being smart, using your resources and your supplements to get you all the way across the finish line. The first thing I did to be successful in law school was I started doing practice tests early. Within the first 2 weeks, I was doing practice test exams. The best way, or the best place to get your exams from, your practice test, will be from your professor, their old exams. However, because that practice exam will be gold, you want to use that exam towards the end of the semester. And up until that point, you want to make your own practice exams with a combination of supplements. Most of your Chicago law schools will use a platform called Cali.org, I believe it is. Go there, get practice tests from there. The other one that I used was Examples and Explanations. It's a phenomenal resource, and it teaches you how to excel in written exams, and they're short. So what I would do with the examples and explanations is I would combine 5 or 10 different examples and explanations, mini practice tests, into one practice exam, and I would time myself taking that exam in half of the time that I would be given on test day. Why is that? Some people freeze up on game day. Now, no matter how smooth you are, how great you are at taking tests, when you sit in that seat and that timer is on, you don't know exactly how you will react in terms of the speed at which you will recall the information. So if you practice all of your tests in half the time, once it comes to the game day, the test day, you'll have time to complete your exam, go back, and you'll also have time to proofread it. It doesn't have to be perfect. At John Marshall, at least, they didn't take off points for misspelling, words and things like that, but it needs to be coherent because it has to be persuasive. The other tip about practice tests, your professors, and now this is the thing, I'm not a law professor, right? So I can tell you what they will tell you, right? Your professors will probably tell you, you do not have to list the case name in your examination, right? You will more than likely hear that. No need to memorize cases. You don't need to do that. But I listed the tests, the case names, only after completing the exam. So once you have that first draft done, you have extra time. If you can recall for the very big topics, like if it's contracts, offer, acceptance, consideration, certainty, if you can recall a pivotal case, I think it's Lucy v. Zimmer, if I'm a law student, help me out. All right, good memory, Andy. So Lucy v. Zimmer, that's a pivotal contracts case. Listing that case and comparing it to the facts that you're getting on your exam can only make your exam more persuasive. How many of your law schools operate on a curve? Okay. The reason I wrote this book is because I was able to excel at a law school ranked, at a law school that's ranked different. So Northwestern is in the T14, right? The curve at those schools operates drastically differently than the curve at a John Marshall and a Chicago Kent. Yes. At a Northwestern, the average G.P.A. is like a 3.2. They don't have to fail anyone, they don't have to give D's, they don't have to give C's in a lot of the courses. So that being said, the way that you take those tests, a lot of them were open notes, they were open book, right? But at a John Marshall, where the curve is tight, only 6 people are getting A's, the way that you stand out is by doing what other law students will not do. But how do you do it? Here's the thing. This is not really a test tip, but this is very important. Do not be negative in law school. Law students spend a crazy amount of time complaining about law school. But you worked for this. Thousands of students did not get in. And why do I say that? Because for all of my classmates that spent their time saying things like, that exam was so hard, I'm probably going to fail. Or I don't have time for this. Or I have so much reading and I don't know how I'm going to do it. All of that time and energy and dedication you spend to that could be dedicated to you saying, I'm going to ace law school. Now, when I got to law school, I had never seen my name on a report card with all A's, right? But all that I said my first year and all throughout law school was, I'm only getting all A's. I had no facts to support that. I had no report card where I had seen my name on that. But that was all I said. When I say my mindset is important, it is extremely important. The other thing I would always, always, always say, I love all my classes. Doesn't matter that it's property. No. Does it matter that it's criminal law and you don't want to be a criminal lawyer? No. You make it seem like Law and Order SVU and you get your criminal law going. Like, you do what it takes. So I think that mindset, I know that mindset is extremely important, and I studied with a study partner, not a study group. Why is that? In law school, you can only learn if you're vulnerable, right? That means you can't be worried about your study partner calling you an idiot. You can't be worried about what people are gonna think. So if you're one of those people that like really can't handle other people's opinions, go to your classes, sit in the first row. That way you don't see what's going on behind you. When you're asking the question, you don't see people's faces. You don't see people online shopping. Trust me, people will be online shopping. You don't see any of that. You're completely zoned in. Now, the details that I explained in my book, they are overkill. Like, I did everything to make sure that I had good grades so that no matter the outcome, I knew I had put in the work and the results would come. I don't necessarily say you have to do everything the way that I did it to get good grades. There are people who got good grades who probably only did like a tenth of what I did. I just wasn't ready to risk it because it's real expensive. Who's taking out loans to go to law school? Y'all can't risk it either. No, you can't risk it. You can't risk it. It's too risky, too expensive, too much money. So when you go to law school, one, be positive, don't be negative. Figure out whether you can work in a study group or with a study partner. The downside of a study group is you have to manage multiple personalities, multiple times, and multiple work ethics. My study partner and I met because we were both sitting on the first row. We were both asking and answering most of the questions. We were both not afraid to just ask whatever question came into our minds. Why is that? Because your professors work for you. Don't tell them that. Don't tell them I told you that. But the reality is, if you have the mindset that you are paying for a service when you go to law school, the service is you want to learn the law. But the trick is you want to get the grades. My mindset was, I don't pay for B's. It's too expensive. But they will give you the B's and the C's and the D's, and at some schools even the F's. So you have to not be afraid to ask your professors questions. So the other thing that I did is I used office hours strategically. Professors are busy people, right? In addition to teaching you, a lot of them are writing books, scholarship, other articles. They're presenting at conferences. They have their own career paths, ambitions, and goals. And although you're their job, if they're tenured, their job is set. So when you go to their office hours, use them strategically. When I would read a case, I would have my Word pad open or whatever I was using to take notes. And as I was reading a case, if a question popped in my mind, I would write out the question. Next to that question in parentheses, I would put the page number from which the question derived. And I would email my professor all of my questions and the page numbers. And I would say, I'm not quite understanding. And this is how you ask a question when you don't know what to ask. You don't say, I just don't know. You say, I was reading page blah, 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 in case blah, blah, blah. Paragraph 5 got me stuck. Can you help me to derive or deduce the rule from this case? That is essentially, I don't even know what's going on page 5. But you don't say it like that. Because it's easier for them to help you if you give them the information to do so. So I'm trying to see where I am on time because we started a little bit late. Okay, good. So these are some of the strategies, that I detail in the Law School Hustle. And really, the book, I'll tell you, goes from how to be successful in law school, how to get the grades, how to get the job that you want, and then how to get the checks, being outside scholarship checks. Because whether you start at your university or if you decide to transfer law schools, most of the schools in the top 14 do not give transfer law students scholarships. So you will have to pay for that completely by the government, or like if you are independently wealthy. And if you are independently wealthy, see me after. Because we should talk, right? Like, we should know each other. But unless you are in those categories, you have to pay out of pocket. So it talks about how I received outside scholarship checks and what I was able to do with that. Because during your first year of law school, can help determine your entire career. Because I interviewed for my job. My first job offer came after my 1L summer associate position with Littler Mendelsohn, a phenomenal employment law firm in Chicago. And if you want to do employment law, we should definitely talk. It was a great experience. They have a 1L program that I was able to receive, and a partner there is who wrote my letter of recommendation to get into Northwestern as a transfer student. So it was an all-around great place. But I got that based on my first semester 1L grades. So you don't have a lot of time to get up to speed. And so you really want to hit the ground running and do so strategically. Does anyone have questions? Because we're going to do a panel and I'll be around a little bit later. Okay, no questions yet? Good. Yeah.
Is the book already written?
That's a great question. So, because you all are in the Jumpstart program, I do have a coupon code for you all. Pre-sale started today. You can go to thelawschoolhustle.com. And if you purchase it within the next 24 hours, use the coupon code JUMPSTART, all caps, all one word, and you'll receive $5 off the book purchase. This is the pre-order, and it'll ship out the end of August, so all of you will receive your book just in time. And it's a quick read. It's an easy read, and it's in plain, like the way I'm talking to y'all right now, that's the way the book is. Like, it is very plain language, because the point is not for you to, like, think I'm smart. It's for you to get the knowledge that you need. So it's really a resource guide. It goes through 1L year, what you need to do to get the grades, when you should start networking, how you should network as a busy law student. One way you can do that is by going to Bar Association Lunch and Learns. Everyone has to eat. Go on your lunch break. Find one in Chicago that's near. You'll be one of the only law students there. It's a great way to start building your brand. It goes through what you should be doing during OCI to get the job and all of that. So it's a really comprehensive guide. It goes all the way up to bar study. I used Themis for my MPRE, which all of you will learn about, as well as for my bar study, and I absolutely loved the platform. So it goes through all of that, and it has a supplement appendix, so what supplements I use and how you can use them. So yes, if you use the Jumpstart code, you can buy it today, and that code is good for 24 hours, so buy it soon, and it's available online now. So now we're going to have our panel, but if there's no more questions, and we'll talk a little bit more to law students.
Actually, can you tell them the web address again one more time?
Oh yes, thelawschoolhustle.com. And the name is on the screen, so if you just, it's the title of the book.com, thelawschoolhustle.com.